Mr. President, some in this Council treat these sessions as theater, as a show. For Israel, it's not theater. It is our daily reality. Just hours ago, 2 Israelis were murdered at the Allenby crossing on the Israel-Jordan border, when a truck marked for humanitarian aid was turned into a weapon of terror. This is the reality we face. Words spoken here as performance can have deadly consequences on the ground. First, we would like to thank the United States for showing leadership and moral conviction by vetoing this biased resolution. Members of the Council, how did this draft resolution come before us? It began as Algeria's one-sided text. The United States engaged in good faith, seeking to add balance, to acknowledge truth, moral clarity, peace, and security. Algeria refused. For weeks, Algeria has run the show, not to seek compromise, but to stall, dragging talks until the stage lights of high-level week were upon us. Great timing. Not to strengthen consensus, but to strip away balance. Step by step, line by line, it worked to weaken the truth. So ask yourselves, why did you yield to Algeria's radical demands, yet refuse to preserve the simple of facts? Let me remind you what Algeria would not allow you to include in this draft resolution. One, that all acts of terrorism are criminal and unjust. That Hamas is a terrorist organization. That Hamas's terrorist attack on October 7th must be condemned. That Hamas must disarm and leave the Gaza Strip. Why were these lines deleted? The answer is simple. Algeria cares more for the show than the truth, more about the credit than making real progress. Too many here are prepared to follow its lead. What we see here is not diplomacy, it is theater. For Algeria, the substance never mattered, only the performance, the timing, the process, the applause. Not the people of Gaza, not their suffering. If you truly care for the people of Gaza, you would condemn Hamas. You would include it in the resolution. Instead, you protect Hamas, reading from their script and casting them in the leading role on the stage you have built in this council. I know many of you as serious diplomats, yet by endorsing a draft resolution that dares to imply Israel is starving the people of Gaza, you echo the propaganda of Hamas. Ask yourselves, is that truly a choice you are prepared to defend? Is that the part you wish to play, reciting their script rather than speaking the truth? Facts are facts. The crossings are open. Humanitarian aid is moving into Gaza through 4 active entry points. Yesterday alone, on Wednesday, September 17th, 226 aid trucks entered Gaza, and 550 Gazans were evacuated for life-saving medical treatment. Since May, more than 13,000 trucks of food, medicine, and essentials have come by land, sea, and air. Starvation is not, and has never been, Israel's policy. Our policy is to fight terror, to fight Hamas, the ones actually starving hostages. A refusal to face facts is not neutrality. It is a choice that strengthens Hamas and prolongs the suffering of both Israelis and Palestinians. What we see again is a carefully staged performance crafted for headlines, not for peace. Even in its one-sided resolution last Friday, the General Assembly called for Hamas to, and I quote, end its rule in Gaza. The General Assembly, at the very least, condemned, and I quote again, the attacks committed by Hamas against civilians on the 7th of October. Yet, this draft resolution before the Security Council could not even do that. Usually the opposite, you know. Make no mistake, Hamas waits in the wings, the only beneficiary of this stage drama. This draft text delivers them the standing ovation they so crave as reward for their barbarism and murder. In this chamber, Algeria has acted as Hamas's puppet. While Algeria plays theater, our hostages remain underground, starved, tortured, humiliated. Where this resolution was stripped of truth and courage, Hamas stole aid and prepared new attacks. While Ambassador Amar Benjam chases applause, Israelis and Palestinians pay the price. The result is the draft text before us, a resolution that fails to label Hamas as a terrorist organization, fails to condemn the October 7th massacre, fails to demand Hamas disarm and end its rule in Gaza. This is not the product of diplomacy. It is the product of obstruction. It is not the work of mediators. It is the work of a ringleader for radicals and terrorists. Too often, in the past 2 years, the world's moral compass has spun off course. Instead of unified outrage at innocent people dragged into tunnels, we hear hesitation and excuses, or worse, silence. Israel has even been asked to justify what needs no justification, bringing our hostages home and confronting Hamas to prove that there is no immunity for terrorists. Israel did not want this war. Israel did not ask for it. When Hamas invaded Israel, attacked our towns, killed our people, and took hostages underground, war was forced upon us. This council has a choice. You can continue with the absence of moral clarity, or you can act with purpose. You can steer this organization back to its true north, toward truth, justice, and peace. Political maneuvering and empty gestures lead only to irrelevance. Hypocrisy and one-sidedness will never deliver peace. Members, this is a crucial moment. This year, we mark 80 years since the UN was created, an institution born after evil was defeated in a long and costly war. The triumph of light over darkness made its creation possible. But before the axis of evil was overcome, some chose to face tyranny with appeasement, while others stood firmly. While Prime Minister Chamberlain told his people to go home and sleep quietly as tyranny marched forward, Churchill's path was different, the path of courage and moral clarity. Churchill confronted tyranny and overcame it, and so will we. For as Churchill warned, tyranny is our foe, in whatever trappings or disguise it wears, in whatever language it speaks, from within or without. We must be vigilant, resolute, and united. Israel will not be told to go home and sleep while terror stands at our door. We will not rest until every hostage is home and until Hamas is defeated. Thank you, Mr. President.